Hi guys, are you having issues using your iPhone in your BMW car, like streaming music, making phone calls, using CarPlay maybe? I've had issues with my iPhone with different versions and different generations of iPhones in different BMWs, including an X5 and an X4 since 2013. And this video is really a recap of some of those issues and some of the troubleshooting steps that I've tried. If you want to have more information, especially if you want to see some of the feedback from other users to see that you're not alone with this, check out the link below to my blog that I published. I think it was actually in 2014 or so when I first discovered those issues, and I've kept updating it over the years, and I've gotten a ton of feedback from other users relating to different versions of phones, different BMWs, and even other brands that have issues. So check that definitely out. I'll link it below. Since we got an X5 in 2013, and I believe I had an iPhone 5 or an iPhone 6 at the time, and in the beginning everything worked well, but as soon as I upgraded my phone and upgraded iOS, issues started appearing, including music wouldn't resume playing after hanging up from a call. The Bluetooth connection would constantly drop, especially when we had two phones paired. So I shared that car with my wife, and we both had our phones paired to the car, and it just never worked. It was spotty, it was, the connection would break, etc. Then later on, and we thought, okay, it's an older car, and but funny enough, BMW has never released an update to the car. I've checked at times, every single month to see if there was a software update maybe that would fix those issues. There hasn't been any update. BMW, once they release the car, they do not update the firmware or the software, it seems like. They just don't care, or not enough. So we were about to, switch to another brand, but then the dealer told me, hey, the 2016 X4 has, all of those issues fixed, completely new entertainment system, new software, etc. Everything is gonna be great. And so we tested it out at the dealer, and it seemed to be working well. And unfortunately, car didn't have CarPlay at that time. BMW wasn't quite ready yet, but we were told that it's likely gonna be a software update, which wasn't true. CarPlay requires new hardware, but we didn't know that for sure at the time. But long story short, we went with the X4, and for a while everything was working, same as with the X5, but then we got new phones like we do every September and upgraded iOS, and stuff stopped working. Same issues as before, Bluetooth connection unreliable, you couldn't have two phones paired at the same time, calls would drop out, music would stop playing after 30 seconds. It was ridiculous. Now fortunately the X4 had a USB port that you could connect the phone to, and I would have expected that a wired connection is more reliable, and while it normally is and technically should be, the problem was that the USB connection started dropping out too. It almost was like as if the cable was bad or the port was bad, and that's what I suspected in the beginning. So I replaced the cable. I thought it was maybe a loose contact or something. I went to the dealer. They again said, never heard about that issue before, which was a complete BS, because so many users have been complaining about this. Me wasn't the first customer, obviously, but they claimed they've never heard about this. But they offered, to replace the Bluetooth at a USB port to maybe fix the issue. Well, it did not fix the issue, because the problem was not the hardware, it was the software. And so we got really fed up, especially because BMW kept saying that, well, it's Apple's fault. They keep changing their software and their hardware, and how would BMW be able to keep up with that, with so many different phones and everything. And I'm like, well, there are a ton of different Android phones, but there are only so many iPhones that are currently on the market that are being sold as new phones, and more so, every registered developer that's part of the Apple developer program in BMW is. Not only that, they're also a CarPlay partner, so they have probably a better relationship with Apple than I have as an individual developer. And so every June at Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference, Apple releases a beta version of the new iOS. And so manufacturers, app developers, hardware partners, etc. They have from June to September to test the betas and to make adjustments and updates to their own apps and software and cars in that particular case, to make sure that when September rolls around and everyone gets the new version of iOS, stuff works. Well, BMW never updates any car, any software, and that's the issue. Once they release the car, they test it probably with the then current version. So if BMW releases a car in August, they've probably tested with whatever version of iOS and iPhone was available between last September and August, or even with older versions. I don't know how long the development cycles of cars are, probably much longer than for phones. And so they test with old versions and then they never do any updates. And that can't work. Unfortunately, BMW is simply not interested in keeping their cars up to date and making sure the newer versions of iPhone and iOS work. And so long story short, we have switched after the X4 disaster. We returned the car and we went with Acura. And Acura has CarPlay, well, BMW now has too. And that was working so much better, at least in the beginning. Now, believe it or not, I have the same issues. Acura uses wired CarPlay, so you have to plug it in, which is fine because it charges the phone at the same time. But the connection keeps dropping as of lately. Only on my phone, I have a XS. On my wife's iPhone 10, everything works. So I don't know if it's my particular phone or if it's because I'm always on the latest version. I'm also part of the public beta program, but it's since iOS 12 and now even with iOS 13 with the first beta versions, it's not as reliable as it used to be. So, and I've heard from other brands, similar issues, not necessarily the same issues, but it's the same. Those car manufacturers, they are so into building cars and and working on the hardware basically, that they don't give a crap about the software. Acura hasn't released any updates either yet. And so what I'd like to know from you is, unfortunately I don't have a solution for you. I wish I had. If I find something out, I'll definitely update my blog, so check that out and keep tabs on that. But for now, I'd like to hear from you. Do you have issues with your iPhone and BMW or any other brand, or have you found a solution? Let me know by leaving a comment. And if you found this video helpful and my blog hopefully helpful, at least so you can get some, knowing that you're not alone, that sometimes helps as well. Give me a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe to my channel so you get notified when I release new videos. If you thought this video wasn't super helpful, this button seems to be working as well. And with that, I'm gonna see you around until next time. Bye.